need to ask you, since you testified, has anyone been suspended with or without pay? Has anyone been fired? And will you tell us as people are disciplined along the way, or is this something we're going to need to just constantly be asking? Or will you update and tell us 5 people have been fired, 6 people, 7 people? What can you tell us?
Sure. Thank you for that question, David. So,
live breaking news, Nez Nation. Secret Service Director Ronald Rowe gave a press conference today publicly addressing the failed assassination attempt and the failure amongst the Secret Service on that fateful day, which will be 3 weeks tomorrow. That's 3 weeks have gone by. Nobody's been held accountable. We still have no answers. What happened? What went wrong? Who did what? Who didn't do anything right? There's been so much speculation. We've got a guy who's been able to carry around a rangefinder, use a drone, somebody who was able to get a ladder up on a roof that was literally less than 150 yards away with the perfect direct line of sight. I did a video the other day showing, if you haven't seen that, I'll leave it on the end screen, showing the actual culprit, Thomas Crooks, running across the roof as well as bearing down. It's a brand new video. I highly recommend you check out that video. So Ronald Rowe does something that's very unprecedented in an ongoing investigation. He addresses the public. And the real question that we all want to know, along with Senator Hawley, who's got whistleblowers talking to him, I'll talk about that in a second. When are you going to hold somebody accountable? When are you going to give the American public answers? And is it, most of us, at least I am, are extremely concerned. Is it safe for the president? Can we trust you, Secret Service? Can we even trust you to protect our candidate?
Yeah. So it affirms to me, and again, and you heard this from the FBI, and they're still conducting interviews and looking at this. It even just affirms to me that this was a failure. We should have had better protection for the protectee. We should have had better coverage on that roof line. We should have had at least some other set of eyes from the Secret Service point of view covering that. That building was very close to that outer perimeter, and we should have had more of a presence. And so as far as the timeline of him running back and forth, I know the FBI has provided a bit of a chronology as well, and so I'd have to go back and look at that. But the bottom line is this, David. This was a Secret Service failure. That roof line should have been covered. We should have had better eyes on that.
I think it's well aware, we know, Director Rowe, that you failed, that the entire Secret Service failed. The fact that the public was able to see this shooter, report this shooter, police officers knew this. You didn't communicate with the SWAT team, the local law enforcement. There was a lack of personnel. There were all these demands that were made prior to President Trump going to Butler. Why on earth you would even let him take the stage after these concerns and warnings were conveyed is absolutely just bonkers to me. It makes zero sense. But speaking of Senator Hawley, this was, and I'm going to share with you what he says about people being fired in just a second. But listen to what he says. An actual reporter asked a very poignant question about Senator Hawley's whistleblower and his involvement with the so-called conspiracy. Check this out.
Just a quick question. There's a report that a whistleblower has alleged that you personally directed cuts to the counter surveillance division, which led to the threat assessments team failing to perform its duties that it typically would before the Butler rally. Is that accurate? Is that allegation accurate?
So I've become aware of this. We got a congressional letter on it. What I can tell you is that the counter surveillance division, they do a fantastic job. They have a very specific mission set. A lot of that mission set is here in the National Capital Region, focused on permanent protective sites. But they do go out and they support, when requested, they go out and support former details. I know that there's been allegations that that I personally cut or that I denied requests. The counter surveillance division has been out there supporting the former president's detail at some very high-profile events. They continue to provide that support, and they're out there providing support right now. So we're going to respond to the letter that we received, and we'll be sure to make that. I'm sure they will. We'll be able to share that response when the committee says it's okay to respond.
I just don't understand how that makes any sense at all. It's just so lack of transparency. The counter surveillance team was there. How is it that participants, attendees, local law enforcement, local attendant goers were able to identify crooks before the counter surveillance team? It lacks serious trust. And so, we've heard a lot from the FBI. We've heard a lot from Director Wray saying he wasn't really actually shot by a bullet. There's so much loss of trust. And all of these agencies, right? The CIA, the FBI, the Secret Service, et cetera, et cetera. I want to share with you, I'm so excited that Black Forest Supplements, I reached out to them. I want to share with you our sponsor for the day, Black Forest Supplements, specifically the NMN supplement that I use. It is the anti-aging supplement. This is a supplement that is under threat from another agency you can't trust, the FDA, who wants to make this a prescription and hand it over to the big pharma companies out there that already have too much control and want to monopolize and profit off of this and really dilute this amazing product. I am so proud of Black Forest Supplements. I've been taking this for over 6 months and it works like miracle. I mean, it is an amazing, amazing supplement. They only use the best ingredients. And so I asked him, I reached out to him. I said, hey, I really like your product. I want to share this with your audience. And they gave me a huge deal just for you, Nez Nation. So in the pinned comment, in the link and in the description and show notes down below, you can now get this amazing supplement. And for the next 48 hours, you can get 2 for the price of 1. Supports healthy aging, heart health, muscle health, increases cellular energy, supports brain health, supports cellular defense and repair, which is really, really important for people my age, over 50. And the fact that it's made in the USA, they only use 100% natural organic ingredients. It is fully, fully safe. I use it myself. I absolutely love it. Gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free, made in the USA. Get yours now in the pinned comment and in the show notes, or just go to Black Forest Supplements /Nez and get your deal right now. Okay, so it's been almost 3 weeks, 3 weeks tomorrow, and Director Rose still has not had a single person put on suspension, probation, disciplinary, fired, suspended, nothing. And finally, if you're going to do a public address like this, you've got to be expecting this question. So here is this reporter asking a very direct question. Let's hear what Senior Secret Service Director Rowe says.
I need to ask you, since you testified, has anyone been suspended with or without pay? Has anyone been fired? And will you tell us as people are disciplined along the way, or is this something we're going to need to just constantly be asking? Or will you update and tell us 5 people have been fired, 6 people, 7 people? What can you tell us?
Sure. Thank you for that question, David. So, as I said in my opening statement, there are going to be, there's the mission assurance review. If that mission assurance review is looking into if there were policy violations, at that point now, if in fact there were policy violations, at that point now it'll go into a parallel path of a disciplinary type of investigation. Those are internal investigations that deal with employee matters, so we're not going to be able to provide real-time updates or continuously to,
of course not,
provide you updates on that. But what I will tell you is that these are very thorough investigations, and if in fact there were policy violations and they are substantiated, those employees will be held accountable.
I think, if I just may, sir, people want accountability. You may not be able to tell us names or positions or something, but will you be able to say that people have been disciplined? People want to hear that there's some accountability here.
I will be able to, at least at a high level, provide at least some type of statement that people are being accountable, being held accountable.
This is the first public address from the Secret Service agency like this in over 12 years, and the whole entire nation is looking for 2 things. Accountability. We don't have any of that. He just basically gave a completely politicized, useless administrative answer that everybody, I mean, it's been 3 weeks. How do you not have any idea? You're still investigating? I mean, any agency worth their weight in gold would have this solved in less than 48 hours. And you know, as well as I do, because I know these people, I've worked with these people, I know how soulless they all are. You know, as soon as the big honchos showed up on site and kind of understood from their people that they trust, their immediate subordinates, they knew exactly what went wrong. They knew exactly what went wrong. Why the delay? Why it should not take 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, let alone almost 21 days. I mean, that is absolute absurdity. Our president was shot. There was an assassination attempt. He was within a literal nanomillimeter of it all being over. And God knows what kind of ramifications, repercussions we would have on our entire country. And then you decide to go public and address this. You didn't say anything in the Senate committee to Hawley, Ted Cruz, Rand Paul, anybody. And then now we're expecting answers and you're still investigating and you're still trying to make sure you're doing a thorough job. Excuse me, 3 weeks after the day? I'm not buying it for 1 second. I think this is a failed press conference. This did not divulge anything. One thing he did say, and I don't know if I trust him because this is what I'm really concerned with. Like, I have done enough videos, enough qualitative, quantitative research, investigation on this to say, and I made a bold statement in my last video, with all the evidence, with all the research, with the vantage point, with the perimeter, with the fact of all the reportings, all the sightings, the rangefinder, the drone he was able to get on there. By the way, he commented in the press conference, no, we didn't use drones. God knows why. The fact that he was able to get a ladder there, the fact that he did not look like any of the Trump supporting attendees that you usually see at these gatherings. So there was no subterfuge or clandestine aspect. This guy was really somebody that stood out. There's footage of him running on the roof, bearing down multiple resources, authorities, and otherwise, and pedestrian citizens saying, we saw this guy 30 minutes prior, an hour prior. There's text messages going back, people saying, I took a picture of this guy. All the evidence amounts to, at the very least, something seriously awry and amiss. And I'm making the bold statement because literally Biden didn't step out until after this failed attempt, literally right after this failed attempt. I think that this was an inside job 1 billion%. I think this was orchestrated. I think this was by design. And many people are saying that this director, Ronald Rowe, had a first-hand accomplice into it. It pains me to say this because I love my country. It pains me to say this because I know there's some of you who even lived through JFK. We've studied JFK. There's been amazing documentation, movies. I love the JFK movie by Oliver Stone. Reports, new classified documents being unveiled that JFK was an absolute disaster, catastrophic. Can you imagine if there were cell phones around in 1963 on that fateful day in Dallas in November? Holy macadamia nut. So my fellow Americans, without a shadow of hyperbole, doubt, or conjecture, or conspiracy theory vibology, I am telling you straight to your face, look me right dead in the eye. This is not a conspiracy. This was a conspiracy to murder, but this is not a conspiracy theory. I truly believe that the government had some involvement, dare I say somebody in the Biden administration, if not all the way to the top. This is bigger than Watergate. It's bigger than JFK. This is the biggest scandal in political American history. I would love to get your thoughts on this. Let me know in the comments down below. Director Rowe did also say there was a question about, well, what about, moving forward? Now that you know that this is our failure. We know it's your failure. We made a mistake. Yeah, we know you made a mistake. We take full responsibility. Yeah, duh. After saying all that garbage, a reporter asked, well, what are you going to do moving forward? I mean, President Trump has to campaign. He's mentioned he wants to do outdoor rallies, indoor rallies. What's your response to that? Director Rowe did say, hey, this is campaign season. They're supposed to campaign. They're supposed to feel safe. And him doing outdoor rallies is completely 100% okay with us. It's our job to protect him. But again, I'm most worried not about the failed attempt or finding out who did it, even though that's important. I'm concerned about that. I'm most concerned about the second attempt. Dare I say the third attempt. I don't think this was just a random lunatic in Thomas Crooks. No. I don't think this was this. He was a patsy. This is our JFK moment. Sadly, over 50, 60 years later, it's come to this. But this is our JFK moment, part deuce, even bigger because there's so much more evidence that alludes to something was absolutely, completely, infallibly wrong, implies so much involvement other than Thomas Crooks. But I throw this off to you, Nez Nation. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I can't wait to hear your thoughts. Remember, go check out the amazing anti-aging supplement from Black Forest Supplements. Full disclosure, they are sponsoring this video. I'm so happy, but it's a product I believe in. I'm sharing that with you. Go check out the pinned comment to get yours right now. They have a special 48-hour deal. Don't miss out on that. Also, make sure that you check out these videos coming up on the screen right there. Follow, subscribe, check out our free newsletter down below. Sign up. It's free. And as always, may God bless you and may God bless America. I'll see you soon.